Hi, welcome to Data Engineering channel. This video is in language English, and if you want the same video in Telugu and Tamil, you can find the link in the description box of this video.
So we're going to discuss about what exactly the open source and enterprise, and this is very important to know just because you heard about a lot of open source projects like Hadoop, Spark, Cassandra, Kafka, like Flink, and all these like Airflow, and all these being used in enterprise as well, and they are available in open source as well. So what is the difference between these two? Which one I should use? So even before getting into that, we need to understand what exactly the open source is. So let's pick one open source project and then we can start to understand what exactly open source, because people used to say, right, so open source means the source code is free, everything is free, the code you can reuse, you can modify, you can just rewrite. So people used to ask me like, what is the profit for them? So imagine if I'm myself Gautam, so I'm creating one open source project and I'm just giving a project and then I'm giving that as an open source, and what is the benefit for me? Because giving my entire source code for free, what is the money that I'm going to make from it, right? So first we have to discuss about that, right? So like most of the creators, all top leading projects has been in open source only, right? Then what is the advantage of the creators, what they get from that, right? Okay, let's start with Hadoop. Okay, so Hadoop was invented in the mid of 2005-6. Okay, so imagine that Hadoop was created by duck cutting, but just imagine that I created it. Okay, just for an analogy. Fine. So now I decided to give this as an open source. Okay, so if I want to give this as an open source, how will I release it? If I want to give it as an open source, what are all the way that I can release my project so that it is called as open source? The first one is you can create your own website and then you can upload your code. And the second one is, okay, the second one is GitHub. So you can upload your code in GitHub and then you can release that in open source. You can say that in your LinkedIn, Reddit, and say that I created such distributed storage and processing framework and I'm just giving it for free open source. And one other popular way is Apache Software Foundation. So Apache Software Foundation, you might have heard about this Apache Software Foundation, right? So you will be finding so many projects in Apache Software Foundation like Apache Hadoop, Apache Spark, Apache Cassandra, Apache Airflow, Apache Kafka, right? You will be having so many projects, not just the big data one, not just the data engineering one. Apache will have even Apache Tomcat and many other front-end applications also there. The code base is also there in Apache. So Apache is like an standard, an organization that provides open source license for your project, and it is not the easy task. So you have to donate your project to Apache Software Foundation, and there will be several checks and process are there, and you have to follow it. And once it's all approved, you will be getting the open source license. Fine. So now coming to the question that what is the benefit that I will get? Okay, now imagine you created this project Hadoop and you believe that this Hadoop is going to be a wonderful project, but you don't want to give it as an open source one and you are planning to monetize it by selling it to the companies. Okay, so that means you are approaching to the companies like Google, Microsoft, Nvidia, etc. Okay, so you are just going for each of this company and then you are explaining them, see, I invented a wonderful project Hadoop, or you can say Python, or you can say MySQL, whatever it is. That's a project that you are created it, so you want to sell it. So you are just going to all these companies and then you are giving some presentation, or you are going some hackathons, meetup, and there you are presenting this. But the thing is, people are underestimating your project. Maybe after your presentation is done with Google, they say, we'll get back to you. And again, Microsoft also says like, I'll get back to you. So like that, like they are just underestimating it. So you are just stepping into each of the companies, and then you are just working too hard to explain that, right? So imagine if what if nobody buys it or nobody cares about your project, right? So instead, the same guy, like, okay, I invented Hadoop. Instead of going to all these companies, I decided to give it as an open source because I believe in my project that it will be definitely an hit one and it will be viral for sure. Okay. Now imagine in all of these companies, not only in these companies, in all the companies, they will be having an R&D team, research and development, or some team which they will do some kind of an innovative projects, right? So in every company, they will always focus on the new project that comes in Apache Software Foundation, and then they will download it, and then they will create an infrastructure for that, and then they will do some kind of an proof of concept. In college term, if I want to say, in university and college term, if I want to say, mini project. Okay, they do a proof of concept, a small project, and then based on that, they will decide whether to use it or enhance it. Okay, in such a way, many companies have started using this Apache Hadoop, and then they understood the real advantage of it, and soon the project became very famous and very viral. Now, what happened is this R&D team tells to their company that their Hadoop was really good. We did a lot of distributed storage and processing. The massive parallel processing is so good. And now this Google, Microsoft, or these companies will approach the creator of this Hadoop, and then they will ask, can you create such projects for us? Can you enhance that projects for us? Or I am ready to acquire your code, or I am ready to give a job for you. So these are all the opportunities that you will be getting. Now let's talk about the worst case. What if even after releasing it in open source, what if nobody likes it? The worst case is you can add that in your profile that gives you very good highlight of saying that you are a open source contributor. So it is not like you have to create a new project. Instead, you can take some existing open source project and you can contribute something by changing their libraries or changing their code or find the bug and fix it. Like that's how they do in Python. That's how they do for MySQL database, all open source projects, right? So open source projects are not always meant to be created by one person. It will be a group of person or by a company or an individual person also. They will form in a group like in Reddit or GitHub. They will form a group and then they will discuss, and worldwide in different geographical location they will connect, and then they will develop the project. And then they will release it either in GitHub or in Apache Software Foundation. So same such a story is there for Python, Spark, MySQL, whichever open source project you see, this is the same story. Okay, so now we understood this open source and how what is an advantage of giving it as an open source and all this stuff, right? And where to get the license and how to release it as an open source. Now imagine we have this Apache Hadoop. Okay, so since it's been donated to Apache Software Foundation, so Hadoop is available in Apache website. Now imagine there is a company called ABC, and they really wanted to use this Apache Hadoop. Okay, so we call this Apache Hadoop or Apache Python or Apache Spark. Okay, Python is not there in Apache, but I'm just saying any open source, we call it as a vanilla flavor. Vanilla flavor of Hadoop means it's a plain, the very original open source code is what we call it as a vanilla flavor. Now imagine this ABC company wants to use this Apache Hadoop, and they really likes the massive parallel processing and then distributed storage. But the thing is, they face a problem that there is no support. Okay, so you setting up the Apache Hadoop project, and then you are creating the cluster infrastructure and everything, and you started writing the code and all happening. But the problem is, if there isn't any issue in the Hadoop or there isn't any issue in the Spark and there is no support team to guide you, right? So that is the biggest thing. Imagine that you order something in Amazon or you order something in Flipkart, right? So the online store, right? So, and imagine that your payment is successful, your order has been placed, but then you didn't deliver the product, and that means then what we will do, we will raise, right, a issue with the customer care through email or phone. Imagine that particular e-commerce site doesn't have a website, I mean, doesn't have a support team. Then we will be able to trust them. We will be buying the product from them. No. Imagine you have a SIM card and that SIM card provider says that we don't have a support team. And what if some issue you got in the particular network, right, in the SIM card? If there is no support, then we will not be buying the product, even though the product is really good, right? So that is the problem that is happening. Now, this problem became a business idea for some of the people. Okay, let me tell you that. So now imagine Gautam again. So Gautam, myself, imagine, okay, Gautam again, looking into this problem. Okay, no support is the problem statement. Okay, so companies likes Hadoop or Spark, right? It's a wonderful project and they wanted to use it, but the only problem the company has is no support. Now I'll take that problem statement and I'll turn that as a business opportunity. Now what I'm doing is I'm again just downloading this Apache Hadoop. Okay, since it's an open source, okay, I'll download Apache Hadoop and I'll just involve a team of people to explore and to fix and all the issues, learn about it, work on that, and then find all the issues that you face and then create solutions for it, right? And you want to enhance it, you want to create some libraries additionally to it. Yes, do it. And not just that, I'll provide the infrastructure also. You want Hadoop to be installed in multiple node, like 50 node, 100 node, I will be doing that for you. So I'm giving the infra and I'm giving the support team, 24/7 support team. And then now I'm going to pack this. Okay. And after packing this, I'm just going to call this as 𝐂𝐤𝐚 Big Data Enterprise. Okay, I'm just going to call this. Now, I'm just approaching this company ABC and I'm telling them use my Hadoop, which is again the same Hadoop, but I provide you the infrastructure, I provide you the support team, and I provide you some enhanced libraries and connectors so you can use it. So you have to pay for my infra and you have to pay for my support team, but not for the Hadoop. Okay, so I'm just giving this as an offer to the company, and the company is really happy that they get Hadoop with support or they get Spark with support, they get MySQL with support, they get Python with support, and they started using this. And this is what we call it as an enterprise edition of the same Hadoop. And whatever you see in Apache is open source plain vanilla version of the same Hadoop. Now, this is what this business is what some companies are doing, and those companies are Databricks. You might have heard about this Databricks, right? Especially for Spark, people use this. And Hortonworks, Cloudera. And then the next one is in AWS, they have their own big data as a service called EMR. In Google, they have their own big data as a service called Dataproc. And similarly, in Azure also, they do have their own big data service, right? So even we have something called data stacks. Okay, so all these are enterprise infra come product provider of the big data platform. And these guys are doing exactly what here Gautam did. Okay, so that's why like whenever like people started using Databricks or Hortonworks, they will be asking me like whatever I see outside the world of this enterprise edition and inside the world of this enterprise edition, the Hadoop or the Spark is going to be the same or different. I used to say it's going to be 80% same. So additionally, they have created some connectors or some enhanced libraries. Okay, and that's why whenever people ask me like where to start learning Spark, I never recommend Databricks as first. I'll first recommend go learn Apache Spark and then get into Databricks, because if you get into Databricks, the Spark, the code and the libraries, what you see is extensively enhanced one. Okay, out of 10 companies, only 2 companies use Databricks. Okay, learning Databricks is good, but first learn Apache Spark and then you can go for vendor-based tools. Okay, and in the modern world, so many people think Spark is actually Databricks. Okay, so learning Apache Spark and then Databricks, you will feel easy. But in the reverse, you do first Databricks and then Apache Spark, you will feel little uncomfortable learning the plain vanilla Apache Spark, because the plain vanilla Apache Spark has been used in other providers. But especially when you take Databricks, they have like more modifications to the existing Spark library, and they create a lot of new libraries which is not there in Apache Spark. Okay, so Apache Spark has been predominantly used by other vendors, and they haven't done that much enhancement. Okay, but Databricks did it. So that's why I always used to recommend first learn the plain vanilla version of Apache Spark and then go for vendor specific tools and technologies. Okay, fine. So, and these people also provide certifications, which is considered in the industry that, okay, you are a big data developer, you are a data engineer, something like that. They provide certifications. But for me, certification doesn't matter. That's what I always used to say. Fine. Means with respect to industry, I'm telling you certification doesn't matter a lot. Knowing all this tech stack is very important. Fine. So this is how the complete open source life cycle that happens in the enterprise and open source life cycle happens in the real time. So you have a startup and you decide not to go with enterprise, you can still go with open source, but you have to take care of all the support infra and everything. If you are ready to do that, you can go for open source itself. You can save a lot of cost, right? Fine. So here we discussed about open source and enterprise. Thanks for watching. Let's go for the next video.
Thanks for watching. If you really like this video, please do share your learning experience in a LinkedIn as a post and tag me in that. And please don't forget to subscribe my channel. And I have shared my LinkedIn and Instagram profile link in the description box of this video where you can follow me. And I'm there to teach you data engineering in a very easy and simple way. Don't worry. Not just data engineering master course. I even have Python master course, SQL master course, and Linux master course, and many other master courses available in my YouTube channel. Please go and have a look. Once again, thanks for watching, guys.